Hello, this is Katherine Marie, and you're listening to Long COVID Real Talk podcast. I am a dual certified adult gerontology acute care nurse practitioner and a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner and a licensed social worker. So, today's episode, I wanted to talk about parenting with long COVID. I've wanted to do this episode for a long time and I wanted to do it justice. I wanted it to be complete. I wanted it to be sincere and authentic, and I didn't want to mess it up because I thought, oh my gosh, someday my daughter might listen to this. So, that being said, I'm just going to try to do my best. So, my daughter was 2 years old when I got long COVID. So, imagine that you're five now, and the only thing you can remember of your mom is her with long COVID. She can't pick you up. She can't play with you. She can't run with you. She can't kick a ball with you. There are just so many things that you can't do with your child, especially if they're young, if you have long COVID. So, parenting is hard, and with long COVID, it can feel nearly impossible. And I really think that being a parent while navigating a post-viral illness is very unique, and it's really challenging. From feeling fatigue and guilt to adapting new routines and redefining what it means to be present for your kids. This episode is for every caregiver doing the best they can with limited energy. So, like I said, I have a 5-year-old daughter who she's 5.5 almost. And when I first got long COVID, she was 2.5. And for the first year and a half or so, I worked full time with long COVID and just took weeks off, just used up all my leave when I would crash. And there was really not a lot of time for parenting because as soon as I would come home, I would be asleep. I would wake up and go to work. I would be sleeping at lunch during my lunch break. I was just having such a hard time just functioning, as I know so many of us do. Those of us who are able to work even a little bit, it's really, really difficult to do anything but work if you're trying to work because it just causes crash after crash. And it just feels like a no win situation. Like you're drowning and then you're also trying to carry a little baby as well while you're trying to swim in the water, You're trying to save yourself and make your life meaningful or just not terrible. And then you're trying to be a good parent and, you just have this physical and emotional toll. And hopefully there have been, in addition to the moments of guilt, some moments of grace that you give yourself. I know it's been really hard for me to do that, um, and it's just been really hard to be a parent while having long COVID. People make a lot of comments when they realize that you don't work outside of the home. I never imagined that I would kind of be a stay-at-home mom because I would be unable to work. I went to school for a really long time and wanted to be like a superstar at work. I loved working. Long COVID has helped me take better stock in my family and my position as a mom. If anything, in some ways I feel like long COVID has made me a better mom, but because all of my energy is spent on my daughter now, but I also feel terrible because there's so much that I cannot do with her, and there's so many times when she's watching Paw Patrol on TV and I'm sleeping because, I can't physically not sleep, you know? So, what's the reality of parenting while chronically ill? You have unpredictable energy levels, you miss activities or milestones, or you miss important things for yourself because you're trying to make sure you don't miss your kids' activities. With kids, you're constantly battling sensory overload or crashes when you're being highly stimulated. And it's hard to be able to take a break and put earplugs in, put on an eye mask, and try to get your body to calm down. And then, of course, there's the pressure to keep up with other parents. One of the things that I feel the most guilty about is that because I sleep the majority of the day, my daughter goes to summer camp, and it's like my job is sleeping. Like, I'm just sleeping all day, except for a small window where I do something like make a podcast episode or something. But usually I'm sleeping, and I barely have the energy usually to do anything else. And like, there's so much that I still need to do as far as my retirement and transitioning to retirement. And there's just so much that I need to be on top of that I'm just not on top of right now. But you get these moments from other parents where they determine that you're not working, I guess because they see you at pick up and drop off. So they assume that you must have a flexible job or that you're not working. And then they ask, or they kind of insinuate, like, why is my daughter going to daycare after school if I'm at home? And I don't like the answer obviously is because I'm ill and I need to sleep, but it doesn't look like I'm that ill when I pick up my daughter because they see me for about 2 minutes. And like, yeah, it's just really that part's just really tough. So the pressure to keep up with other parents, the judgment of other parents, and even the judgment of some of my daughter's caregivers. Like, just, I remember one of the teachers told me that when she grows up, my daughter wants to be a regular person like me. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like you. Like, she said she didn't want to have a job. She just wanted to stay home like you do. And I was like, oh, haha, that's so funny. Yeah, I am on workers' comp. I have been for about a year at that point. Yeah, I can understand how, like, why she would think that and ha ha ha. But it was just like, it just really hurt. Not hurt. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. It just felt really bad. And it felt like the teacher was kind of like, yeah, your daughter doesn't want to do anything because you just sit at home. So she wants to sit home and not have a job, you know? Okay. So that's the reality of parenting while chronically ill. What kids really need, and I have to keep telling myself this, they need emotional presence over physical activity. So when my daughter comes home and someone said something to her at school or told her something and she's not sure if it's true or not, and she's asking me, like, just having the presence to be there at that moment in time talking to your kid is more important than, like playing soccer outside or something. Although I really wish I could do that. But at least with my medication, I'm starting to be able to stand more, and that is helpful. Kids need simple rituals like reading together, cuddles, and mindful moments. I feel terrible when my daughter asks me to get out of bed, when she says to dad, "Oh, yeah, she's sleeping again," or something like that. It just makes me feel like I'm not pulling my weight as a member of the family and that I'm abandoning my daughter and my husband to sleep. But I try to remember that when she comes to say hello, or because even when I'm sleeping, she comes frequently to wake me up to tell me something. And I try never to be angry with her or upset when she does that because I want her to feel like she can talk to me. But usually I'll ask her if she wants to do cuddles or snugs, as we call them, or cuddles. And I'll ask her how her day went. Usually she'll come in the room and kind of want to talk about something. And then kids also need to have illness explained to them in age appropriate ways. For me, that's really hard. I just really struggle with explaining things. But I try to explain long COVID to my daughter, and she understands it. Her aunt also has long COVID, my little sister. So she has been around two people with long COVID, and she understands how it works and that you're more tired and, you're not going to be able to run around. You're going to have to sit and watch if you're at the park or something, if you even have the energy to go to the park. But anyway, so yeah, so that's what kids really, really need. Just having emotional presence and rituals and to feel like they can come and talk to you. The next thing is finding support and creative adaptation, asking for help without shame, doing flexible scheduling and quiet activities, and using tech or the community to bridge the energy gap. So, what I have done in my life is I have hired help to watch my daughter in the evenings, some of the evenings, because even though I'll pick her up at 5 or 4:30 or something, it's still several hours until bedtime. So sometimes I need to sleep even before bed. So I have somebody that comes a couple days a week to pick up my daughter from school or at this point summer camp, and she takes her to the park. As far as flexible scheduling, I have not been able to volunteer for my daughter's class because they've been going to things like the zoo, and that zoo does not have scooters. And I, the last time I went there, I got so tired that I could barely walk back to the car. It took like everything I had to walk back. And I was really, really frustrated and just having a horrible time. So I don't feel like I have the energy to volunteer or chaperone, but there was one party or picnic where it was at the park next to the school, and the teacher told me that they didn't need the whole process of getting fingerprinted and all that. They just needed parents to come, even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour. And having that flexibility allowed me to come to the picnic. I think I was there for 45 minutes to help watch kids and help them get the food for lunch and everything like that. So, flexible scheduling is really helpful. As far as using tech or community to bridge the energy gap, we do some FaceTime. One of my sisters who does not have long COVID is a master at doing FaceTime with my daughter. I don't know how she does it, but she keeps her completely entertained and focused. And it's like she's babysitting her. I should probably use her more often for childcare, but she's just amazing. And then, of course, grandparents and aunts and uncles and everything and friends. I think we have used friends to watch our daughter one time while we went out to dinner. So the next subsection is releasing guilt and embracing enough. So some of it is just acknowledging how hard it is and offering compassion to yourself. Frame your parenting through a chronic illness lens and know that doing less doesn't mean that you're loving them less. One of the things that I tell myself when I'm feeling like I don't know what to do next is I think, what would a regular sane person do next? Like, what's the next sane thing? And then that's usually what I do. And usually, when you say that you're making the next sane choice, you're simultaneously embracing that you are enough as you are. Our love as parents is not diminished by our limitations, and our presence in their lives really matter. I think sometimes on the really, really, really hard days when it feels like I'm the worst parent in the world, not giving my kid any attention because I'm sleeping all day, I just think to myself, well, if something did happen to me, that would really profoundly affect my daughter's life. So at least I'm here, Even if I'm sleeping, at least I'm here. And my husband has said something to that effect, like just having me in the house, just having me so that she can crawl into the bed next to me if she wants to, that is really precious to have that time together. So anyway, that's what I have for parenting with long COVID. If you are a parent with a young child or young kids, oh my God, I totally get it. And just like know that you are enough as you are. You're not ruining your kids' lives. You're doing the best you can. Hang in there. You're going to get better. And as you continue to get better, you'll be able to be more present to your kids. Anyway, okay, thanks so much for listening. And we'll talk again real soon. Take care.